There is a quiet place we all love to linger in, a place that feels safe, familiar, predictable. It's the warmth of routine, the gentle rhythm of the known, the soft hum of life unchallenged. It is called the comfort zone. And while it promises peace, it often hides a slow, silent destruction, a kind that doesn't announce itself with pain or noise, but creeps in softly, like fog at dawn. You don't notice it until you've lost sight of who you could have become. You see, the comfort zone is not evil by design. It's the mind's way of protecting you, of saying, stay here, you're safe. We're safe. It whispers that you've done enough for now, that tomorrow is another day to try harder. But tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year. And before you realize it, life has passed quietly, wrapped in the gentle suffocation of safety. You tell yourself you're fine. But deep down, there's a growing ache, a restlessness that no comfort can soothe. The truth is, growth does not exist in the comfort zone. It thrives where uncertainty begins. Every person who has ever done something extraordinary, who has broken barriers, who has transformed their life, has walked away from the safety of what they knew. They stood at the edge of fear and took a single step forward. That step changes everything. But the comfort zone resists. It disguises itself with logic. It says, and now is not the right time. You're not ready. Wait until things calm down. And you believe it because comfort speaks with the voice of reason. It makes you feel intelligent for staying still. It rewards you with temporary relief. But comfort's true cost is invisible. It robs you of potential. It steals your fire quietly in exchange for warmth. Imagine a bird born in captivity. It grows accustomed to the cage, to the food that always arrives, to the predictable rhythm of a day that never changes. And then one day, the door is open. The sky stretches endlessly before it, vast and alive. But the bird hesitates. Freedom, though beautiful, feels terrifying. The cage, though small, feels safe. So it stays. That, right there, is the tragedy of comfort. It convinces you to love your limitations. And yet, outside that comfort lies something magnificent. The unknown is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. Every failure you fear is a lesson in disguise. Every discomfort is a signal that growth is happening. When you face what scares you, you begin to uncover who you really are. It's not in ease that your strength is revealed, but in struggle. The pain of progress is far more valuable than the peace of stagnation. When you leave your comfort zone, something remarkable happens. The mind sharpens, the heart strengthens, the soul begins to wake. You start to see yourself differently, not as someone who merely survives, but as someone who creates, builds, conquers. You stop waiting for the right moment and begin shaping it. You stop fearing failure and begin seeing it as fuel. The discomfort that once terrified you becomes the compass that points you toward your purpose. And yes, it will hurt at first. Growth always does. You will question yourself, you will stumble, and you will want to run back to safety. But the longer you stay in discomfort, the more you realize it's not trying to destroy you, it's trying to build you. The muscles of your mind, the resilience of your spirit, the courage of your heart, they only grow when stretched. The world beyond comfort is where passion burns brightest. It's where innovation is born, where relationships deepen, where dreams are forged into reality. It's where the mediocre becomes magnificent. You will never know how far you can go until you step beyond what you know. The comfort zone will always be there, waiting, return. Waiting, return. But remember this, it offers safety, not fulfillment. Security, not purpose. Rest, not life. And life, my friend, is meant to be lived boldly, messily, passionately. So step forward into the cold, into the uncertain, into the wild expanse of your potential. Feel the fear and move anyway. Because on the other side of comfort is not just growth, it is transformation. It is the place where you stop existing and start living. And if you stay there long enough, you'll realize something truly extraordinary. The comfort zone was never your home. It was just a waiting room for the person you were destined to become, and yet most people never make it that far. They spend years circling the same routines, repeating the same conversations, clinging to the same excuses. They call it stability, but it's not stability, it's quiet, you keep. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, a piece of your potential fades. You don't notice it at first. It happens so gently, so subtly, that you convince yourself you're just taking a break. But that break stretches into a lifestyle. You stop taking risks. You stop being curious. You stop living with urgency. Life becomes something that just happens to you rather than something you create. The danger of comfort is not just that it makes you still, it makes you forget. It makes you forget what it felt like to be alive, to chase something that scared you, to feel your heart race with uncertainty and excitement. It makes you forget that the greatest moments in your life were never the ones that felt safe. They were the ones that demanded something from you, the moments when you risked failure, embarrassment, rejection, and found a strength inside yourself that you didn't know existed. You can hide inside your comfort zone for years and call it happiness. You can decorate it with distractions, scroll through your phone, binge another show, repeat the same daily routine, and it will look like peace. But peace without purpose is just a slower kind of death. You may not fall, you may not fail, but you also will never fly. There's a moment in every life when you have to decide. Am I going to stay here in the known, or am I going to step into what could be? That decision doesn't come once, it comes every day. Every time you face fear, every time you feel discomfort, that's life inviting you to grow. It's an invitation most people decline, because comfort whispers that there's no need. But deep down, you know there is. You can feel it every time you look in the mirror and see the gap between who you are and who you could be. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is the signal that you're standing on the edge of transformation. The people who achieve greatness aren't fearless. They just learn to move with fear instead of waiting for it to disappear. They understand that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to act despite the comfort zone kills dreams quietly. It doesn't shatter them in one blow. It erodes them over time. One small compromise here, one missed opportunity there, and before long, your dream is nothing but a memory of what you once wanted. But dreams don't die because they're impossible. They die because you stop moving toward them. They die because comfort convinced you that a later would be a better time. But later never comes. You are not created to exist in a loop of ease and repetition. You are designed to expand, to evolve, to struggle and rise again. Every great story, every legendary life began with discomfort, with someone standing at the edge of the unknown and choosing to leap. They failed, they suffered, they doubted, but they grew. And in that growth, they found themselves. Your comfort zone will tell you that discomfort means danger. But the truth is, discomfort is proof of life. It means you're stretching, reaching, pushing against your limits. And that is where all creation begins. The stars were born in the chaos of collapsing matter. Mountains rose from violent shifts in the earth. Even a seed must crack open in darkness before it can grow. Why should your life be any different? If you want to become something extraordinary, you must first be willing to be uncomfortable. You must step into the spaces that challenge you, the moments that humble you, the experiences that test your patience and strength. And strength, that is where your character is forged. That is where your purpose begins to take shape. There will be days when it feels unbearable, when you question whether the struggle is worth it. But every time you push through that pain, you grow stronger. Every time you face what scares you, fear loses a little more power. And slowly the impossible becomes possible. You will start to see life differently. What once felt frightening will begin to feel exciting. What once felt impossible will become your new normal. You will realize that you were never meant to stay small, never meant to live inside the walls of comfort. You were meant to explore the wild landscape of your potential, to uncover the depth of your courage and the power of your mind. And one day you'll look back at the person you used to be, the one who hesitated, who doubted, who stayed safe. And you'll feel gratitude because that person took the first step. That single act of courage was enough to change everything. So do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for the fear to vanish. The perfect moment will never come, and fear will always whisper in your ear, go anyway. Step forward anyway. Break your own pattern. Defy your own excuses, and watch how the world opens before you. Conclusion: your comfort zone may feel like a friend, but it is a silent thief. It steals your time, your energy, your potential, and gives you nothing lasting in return. The life you dream of, the person you are capable of becoming, exists just beyond that invisible line. And though crossing it will demand everything from you, your patience, your courage, your faith, it will give you something far greater in return: freedom, true, unshakable freedom. The freedom to live fully, to grow endlessly, and to die with no regrets. Step beyond comfort, and you will not just change your life, you will reclaim it. The strangest thing about the comfort zone is that it disguises itself as peace, but in truth, it's a kind of quiet prison. It keeps you in the same circles, surrounded by the same thoughts, doing the same things, day after day. You call it balance, you call it stability. But it's not balance if it's costing you your growth, and it's not stability if it's built on fear. The comfort zone is the place where dreams are put to sleep, not because they are impossible, but because they are inconvenient. You silence your ambition just to feel calm for a little while, but that calm is only temporary. Deep down, you can feel the pull of something greater. There's a small voice inside you, the one that remembers what you once wanted, what you once believed you could be. That voice grows faint when you feed it with excuses and familiarity. Every time you ignore it, every time you say, not today, it weakens. But here's the truth: it never dies. It waits. It waits for the moment you decide you've had enough of being comfortable. It waits for the day you stop pretending that a fine is good enough. You see, comfort isn't just a physical state. It's a mindset. It teaches you to settle, to stop reaching, to lower your expectation, so you can avoid disappointment. It convinces you that contentment and complacency are the same thing, but they aren't. Contentment is gratitude for what you have while still striving for more. Complacency is giving up that striving altogether. It's choosing to shrink so that life doesn't challenge you. But life wants to challenge you. It's how it shapes you. Every difficulty, every discomfort, every unfamiliar situation, it's not there to punish you, but to prepare you for the version of yourself that waits beyond fear. The danger is that the longer you stay in comfort, the more it redefines your limits. You begin to think small. You stop asking questions, stop taking risks, stop trying to learn something new. You convince yourself that this is just how life is. But life doesn't limit you. You limit yourself by refusing to step into its uncertainty. Comfort tells you that risk equals loss. But risk is the gateway to discovery. You run from is the exact experience that could change everything. And when you finally take that first step out of the zone, it feels terrifying. It feels like standing on the edge of a cliff with no guarantee that you'll land safely. But here's what most people never realize: you don't need to see the whole path. You only need to take one honest, fearful step forward. Growth doesn't happen all at once. It comes in moments, small victories that build into transformation. The first time you say no to fear, the first time you try something new, the first time you realize you can survive without the safety net, that's where your real power begins. The world beyond your comfort zone is raw and unpredictable. You'll face failure, rejection, confusion, but in all that chaos, you'll also find wonder. You'll discover how strong you actually are. You'll find resilience you didn't know existed. You'll uncover new talents, new perspectives, and new possibilities that were hidden beneath your fear. Discomfort is not your enemy, it's your mentor. It teaches lessons comfort never could. Every person who has ever changed their life started with a moment of discomfort. They left behind what was easy and familiar for something uncertain and difficult. They were not fearless, they were brave. There's a difference. Fearlessness is a myth. Bravery is a choice. The brave don't wait for the fear to go away. They move with it, shaking, sweating, uncertain, but moving nonetheless. That's what separates those who merely survive from those who truly live. When you look back on your life, years from now, what will you remember most? The days you felt safe or the days you felt alive. The comfort zone offers you neither adventure nor story. It offers repetition. And repetition without purpose becomes regret. You will never remember the nights you stayed comfortable, but you will always remember the moments you took a chance. Imagine standing at the end of your life, realizing that the only thing that ever stood between you and the life you wanted was your own hesitation. Not luck, timing, not resource, just your refusal to be uncomfortable. That realization alone should be enough to wake you. The greatest pain in life is not failure, it's regret. Failure teaches, regret haunts. So when you feel that fear, that hesitation, that's not a warning to stop. It's a signal that you're exactly where you need to be. Growth is supposed to feel uneasy. Transformation is supposed to hurt. You are not breaking, you are unfolding. You are becoming someone new, someone wiser, someone freer. That process demands discomfort. You cannot evolve and remain the same. Don't let the comfort zone convince you that it's love. It's not love. It's not love, it's control. It keeps you small. And the tragedy is that most people never realize they're trapped because the walls are invisible, built from habits and rationalizations that feel harmless. You must be the one to see through them. You must be the one to break out. It's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. Because the world doesn't reward those who stay safe. It rewards those who dare. The path will be uncertain, but it will also be alive. You'll wake up every morning knowing that you're moving forward, that you're no longer existing on autopilot. And that feeling, that pulse of purpose, will remind you that stepping out was the best decision you ever made. In conclusion, your comfort zone is not protecting you. It's quietly consuming your potential, stealing your energy, and replacing passion with predictability. You owe it to yourself to break free from it, to step into the unknown and see what kind of life you can create when fear no longer makes your decisions. The person you dream of being is not waiting inside the safe walls of comfort. They're standing just beyond them, calling you forward. Forward. And if you have the courage to answer that call, to face the discomfort and walk through it, you will discover something incredible. Life doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins the moment you decide to move. The comfort zone is seductive. It wraps around you softly, whispering promises of peace and protection. It tells you that everything is fine, that you're doing enough, that there's no need to rush, no reason to push harder. It praises you for staying safe, for not risking too much, for keeping things simple. But what it doesn't tell you is that while it keeps you comfortable, it also keeps you small. It lulls you into a quiet paralysis, where dreams dissolve and ambitions fade, not because they were impossible, but because they were never truly tried. Inside the comfort zone, days blur into one another. You move through life half awake, repeating the same choices, living on autopilot. It feels easy, predictable, manageable, but that's exactly the problem. You stop noticing the spark that once made you feel alive. You start convincing yourself that happiness means the absence of discomfort, when in truth, happiness is born in the pursuit of meaning, not in the avoidance of challenge. Comfort doesn't help you grow. It helps you forget what growth feels like. You might think you're protecting yourself from failure, from pain, from rejection. But what you're really protecting yourself from is possibility. Every step you refuse to take out of fear is a door closed to something extraordinary. Life's greatest gifts don't arrive wrapped in certainty. They come wrapped in risk. And every time you choose comfort over courage, you say no to the chance of discovering something far greater than ease, the full measure of who you are. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'll do it when I'm ready," or maybe later, when things settle down? Those are the phrases of comfort disguising itself as logic. There will never be a perfect moment. There will always be uncertainty, always a reason to wait. But if you keep waiting, the years will pass, and you'll find yourself wondering what could have been if you had simply started. Regret doesn't arrive suddenly. No, it builds quietly, moment by moment, each time you choose what feels safe instead of what feels right. The truth is, you were never meant to live within walls built by fear. You were born to explore, to test your limits, to make mistakes, and to rise stronger each time. Discomfort is comfort. It's comfort, isn't it? It's an invitation. It's the signal that you're stretching, evolving, breaking old boundaries. The pain you feel when you step out of your comfort zone is the friction of transformation, the birth of a new self. Without that friction, there can be no growth. Without struggle, there can be no strength. Every meaningful achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of pride you've ever felt came from doing something uncomfortable. Remember your first time trying something new, your first challenge that scared you. The nervous, the trembling, the uncertainty, and then the rush of realization that you could do it. That's what life outside the comfort zone feels like. Scary at first, but exhilarating once you begin. But comfort resists that feeling. It wants you to believe that safety equals happiness. Yet safety without purpose becomes suffocation. You might not fall, but you'll never fly. You might not lose, but you'll never truly win. The irony of the comfort zone is that while it shields you from pain, it also shields you from joy. Because the deepest joy in life doesn't come from staying safe. It comes from discovering your own strength through challenge. Every time you face something difficult, your mind expands, your resilience deepens, and your confidence grows. That's the secret. Discomfort is not the end of comfort. It's the beginning of freedom. The moment you step out, you realize the fear that held you was never real. It was an illusion built by habit. And once you cross that line, the world opens up. You begin to see that the limits you believed in were self-imposed. You start to crave growth, not comfort. You start to seek challenges, not shortcuts. You will stumble, of course. You will fall. But falling isn't failure. It's evidence that you're moving, that you're alive. The people who succeed are not those who never fall. They are the ones who refuse to stop getting up. Every mistake becomes a lesson, every rejection a redirection. And slowly, discomfort becomes your new normal. You begin to find peace in progress instead of stagnation. The comfort zone has only one goal, to keep you the same. But life doesn't reward sameness, life rewards courage. Every great story ever told, every legacy ever built started with a decision to walk away from comfort, to leave behind what was known for what was possible. And that decision always feels terrifying at first, because it's supposed to. Growth never feels good at the beginning. It feels uncertain, messy, even painful. But on the other side of pain lies transformation. One day, you'll look back and realize that all the moments that changed you, that shaped you, that defined you, were the ones that pushed you beyond your limits. The nights you doubted yourself but kept going anyway. The days you wanted to give up but didn't. Those are the moments that build your story. The real story, not the one comfort promised you. Comfort offers an easy life, but not a meaningful one. But deep down, you know the truth. You're playing small because you're afraid. Afraid of rejection. Afraid of judgment. Afraid of failing in front of others. The comfort zone doesn't stop you from dreaming. It simply convinces you to dream quietly without ever taking action. But life does not reward hesitation. The longer you stay in that safety, the more it drains your courage. The more you avoid discomfort, the weaker your spirit becomes. Strength doesn't grow from ease, it grows from effort. And yet, so many people spend their lives chasing the illusion of safety, thinking it will bring them happiness. It doesn't. It brings numbness. You can't find fulfillment in the absence of challenge. You can only find it in the pursuit of something greater than yourself. Think about the last time you truly felt alive. Not comfortable, but alive. Maybe it was when you faced something uncertain, when you risked embarrassment, when your heart pounded with fear and excitement. That moment wasn't peaceful, but it was real. It was proof that beyond fear lies life. Every moment that truly shapes you begins with discomfort. The comfort zone tries to protect you from that, but in doing so, it protects you from life itself, you might say. You might say, but I'm fine where I am. But a fine is not fulfillment. A fine is the slow fading of passion, the quiet surrender of your potential. It's a dangerous illusion that there's always time. There isn't every year spent inside your comfort zone. Zone is a year you'll never get back. Every opportunity you avoid is a door that closes quietly without a sound. You are not meant to live on repeat. You are not meant to stay the same. You are meant to evolve, to stretch, to stumble, to rise, to keep discovering more of who you are. Growth is uncomfortable because it requires you to let go of what's easy. It asks you to trade predictability for possibility. You find yourself doing what used to scare you, saying what you once hesitated to say, becoming someone you once thought you couldn't be. That's the magic of leaving your comfort zone. It doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you are. You become bolder, sharper, more alive.